So, at I believe a recent MagicCon, it was either a MagicCon or it was some sort of event. Wizards of the Coast showed off their new look at 2025. We originally had a full release schedule for 2025, and it showed some really cool things like a return to Lorwyn, another return to Ravnica. We already had the return to Ravnica, I'm sorry. Another return to Lorwyn, and a return to Kaladesh, and a few other things, a new Tarkir. It looks like some of those sets have been pushed back to 2026 because there's a new look at 2025 when it comes to what will be happening for Magic the Gathering. And the things I want to start with are the fact that Universes Beyond will be roughly half of the sets released in 2025. Not only that, Universes Beyond has always been a supplemental product that went into Commander and sometimes went into, you know, Modern or Legacy, but never went into the Standard and Pioneer formats that are almost always the premieres that you see at events. And that was kind of the thing that a lot of apologists for Universes Beyond stated. They said, hey, like, these are just fun little side sets. It's not like they're invading Standard, and it's not like they'll ever invade Standards. Like, it's not like you're gonna have to worry about SpongeBob, you know, fighting against Jace as Planeswalkers in a Standard tournament Pro Tour, right? That's not something that you're gonna have to worry about. Well, Magic the Gathering just threw us for a loop. Universes Beyond is selling so well that if we take a look at their new look at the full release set schedule for 2025, we see now that, as we see, unannounced Universes Beyond, UB means Universes Beyond, so unannounced, UB, not OOB. This isn't a Dragon Ball Universes Beyond. Who knows? It might be, but it's not OOB. It's unannounced Universes Beyond. Spider-Man, Final Fantasy, Edge of Eternities, which I believe is a Magic the Gathering own core set. Tarkir, cool, Return to Tarkir, and Aether Drift, which is Kaladesh. This is 3 sets that are non-Magic related when it comes to the actual lore of the planes and the characters related to Magic the Gathering. Another thing is, these sets will be, for the first time ever, Standard and Pioneer legal, which means you will see maybe, you know, Spider-Man fighting against Chandra from Kaladesh, right? It is something that could happen when it comes to Planeswalker and Legendary Creature cards now. And I said, I think a few months ago, that I don't like the Fortnitification of multiple different video games. I think the Fortnitification of video games is bad. I like crossovers. Crossovers are cool, and they make people happy. But I also think that you should be able to separate a game's core audience from the audience who only interact with the game through these Universes Beyonds, right? A lot of people that I know that play Magic the Gathering through Universes Beyond only interact when new sets that are Universes Beyond come out. So they make the money because every time a new Universes Beyond that player would like comes out, they're going to pick it up, right? So if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, you might also be a fan of Fallout. Boom, you picked up the Fallout one. You like Jurassic Park, Jurassic World just had one when it came to Ixalan, or Lost Caverns of Ixalan, right? Really cool. Nothing inherently wrong with that. But having it invade the competitive space is a slippery slope. This is the Fortnitification that I was worried about when it came to Magic the Gathering before. I don't interact with Universes Beyond, and now, because I don't interact with Universes Beyond, I can't interact with Pro Tours that I would have watched before. I can't interact with Standard, you know, Friday Night Magics, with Pioneer Saturday Magic tournaments. I can't interact with those now. Not that I did very frequently, because I don't have a new Pioneer deck put together. I was going to make Spirits, and I never got around to it. And I haven't had a Standard deck since Thunder Junction, which I guess wasn't that long ago, but Thunder Junction would have been the last time. And for anyone who's like, well, I've never seen you hold anything like Magic. You talk about Magic every now and then, but you never really show us that you Magic card. I have a bunch of Commander decks down here. Fucking. So before you think that I'm just some guy who's rage baiting or just grifting, I actually like the product. This is new. This is one of the new ones too. This is Merged at Karlov Manor. I just bought this one and it's awesome. I love Zamone. She's really cool. Black Power. I am a fan of the core sets and the lore and kind of world building of Magic the Gathering. It feels as if Magic the Gathering is losing its way significantly, right? Like, sure, we've had high fantasy for a long time, but we've always dabbled in other things like Kamigawa, which is very feudal, and Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, right? Very, very feudal, more like a cyberpunk futuristic Japan setting. And then things like Thunder Junction, which is basically Jace in a fucking cowboy hat. So Magic the Gathering's always had some offbeat, wacky sets. Same thing with Aether Drift, where we're going back to Kaladesh, which is my favorite plane of all time because I love energy. But they're just playing fast and furious. They're just racing. They're racing. It's not really, it's not. It's Kaladesh and Amonkhet. But, whatever. Anyways, the only thing on this horizon that isn't being shown is we have one more Standard Legal set, so it's 4-3, if I'm not mistaken, and that is Innistrad Remastered, right? Going back to another original plane that is really cool, I have no problem with. I'm happy about that. I'm more scared of how Magic the Gathering will look in 5 or 6 years if Universes Beyond keeps being such a prominent force when it comes to selling product. I think them selling it to the casual market and to the Commander crowd makes sense. Them mixing Lord of the Rings into the modern ecosystem and the Baldur's Gate set into the Pioneer and Standard ecosystem didn't feel too out of place because they still feel very high fantasy. When you start mixing things like Final Fantasy and Spider-Man into the world of Magic the Gathering, things get murky. Things get Fortnite-ish. Are we eventually going to see Naruto cards? Are we going to see Dragon Ball Z cards? Are we going to see all of the same IPs that exist in something like Fortnite crossed over into Magic the Gathering because of the popularity of those IPs and the amount of money that they will make Wizards of the Coast while removing the core identity of Magic the Gathering? If I wanted to play Disney characters like Spider-Man and whatever other IP Disney owns because they own tons, I would just fucking play Disney Lorcana. I want Magic the Gathering to still feel and look like Magic the Gathering in 5 to 10 years. So I think if you're a fan of Magic the Gathering, you should do your best to talk out about this if you don't think that it's healthy and going to lead for a good place for the game. You should also not interact with these products at all. Do not give, I don't care if Spider-Man is your favorite superhero. I don't care if Final Fantasy is one of your favorite IPs. I don't care if Fallout, which I fucking love. I love Fallout. I did not buy the Fallout Commander decks. They made an Energy Fallout Commander deck and a Sultai Fallout Commander deck. Energy is my favorite mechanic, and Sultai is my favorite color pair. They're not the same. One's like a toxic deck, and then the other one's it's Jeskai Energy with like Liberty Prime, which is really fucking cool. And Madison Lee, it's really cool, and the cards are flavorful and they're awesome. But I'm not interacting with them. I'm not buying them. I'm not picking them up because I refuse to allow Magic the Gathering to think that I support Wizards of the Coast, mostly to think that I support what they're doing when it comes to the core identity of their game. I love the way their game exists in the past and the way it exists now. With Universes Beyond only being supplemental product, I don't want to see Universes Beyond become the standard and become the pioneer and become almost all encroaching on what Magic the Gathering is. That's not good, it's not healthy, and it makes a game lose its identity and basically just become an advertising banner that they wear over their back. It's like getting a tattoo of the candy shop down the road that has really cool candy and they pay you to do so because it makes you a lot of money. You're like, yeah, I'll slap this Bourbon Street Candy Company tattoo on because it makes me a lot of money. This is forever going to be a part of Magic the Gathering's core set history. There will be videos of Pro Tours with Final Fantasy, untitled, unannounced Universes Beyond, and fucking Spider-Man cards being played alongside cards from Aether Drift, Tarkir Dragonstorm, and Edge of Eternities, and Innistrad Remastered. Universes Beyond should only be a casual thing or its own format as a whole outside of actual competitive formats like Unglued and Unhinged sets. I don't even mind if there are Commander players and Commander groups that don't care if you're playing like a Universes Beyond deck, right? I don't think all Universes Beyond decks should only play against Universes Beyond decks. They have the flavor to do so, and that's really what they're meant for. But if someone's like, hey, you really only have a Fallout deck, but you want to play Commander with, okay, come play Commander. That's fine. Okay, you have the Spider-Man, you have the Spider-Man Commander deck. You have the Venom one. Badass. Okay, that's fine. I know you don't have anything else. Yeah, come play Commander with this. Commander is a community format, and that's why Universes Beyond feels so cool in something like Commander. It doesn't feel cool when you're shoving it into the face of the people who want to play at the highest level of competitive integrity. Now, you're making them basically promote brands. Like, now they're sitting here playing with the best cards in the game. And if you push these cards, this is the scarier part that I think of. Is the Final Fantasy and Spider-Man sets going to be really pushed so that people are forced to buy these products to compete at a high level, and now all we'll see is a bunch of Final Fantasy and Spider-Man cards? Because that's not good. Right? There's push cards, there's push sets. It happens. I understand. You want to make the product enticing so people will pick it up. But if competitive level players don't want to pick up the cards because they're too weak, you won't see them at Pro Tours, which means people won't know that they exist from a competitive standpoint, right? The casual ecosystem will always know about cards like these, will always know about sets like these. They get enough buzz and they get enough shine outside of competitive. Now, if they try to push them even further by marking them in competitive, they will make these cards pushed. They might give Venom a new Fatal Push. They might give, Spider-Man the best blue removal spell you've ever seen. Who fucking knows? We can't say, we can't tell. But this is already leading to that slippery slope, the Fortnitification of multiple games that I've talked about in the past that scares the absolute dog shit out of me. I don't want every game to become a hodgepodge of something else and to not feel like its own core game. I've said it about Fortnite. I love Fortnite Reload because it feels like Fortnite, but with respawns, it doesn't feel like some collective congealed brand deal. That's not what I want. That's not what I want to play. I want to play the boots on the ground, gunplay, and items of Fortnite. I don't want to deal with Captain America shield. I don't want Spider-Man web swinging around. I don't want to see someone using Tony Stark's boots to shoot through the air. That's not what I play Fortnite for. And that's just this recent Marvel season, okay? There was the fucking Avatar, The Last Airbender stuff, and those are all insanely broken. There's the Star Wars things. Every time those come back, they're insanely powerful at a low level. There's the anime abilities. This Fortnitification of multiple video games is scary for fans of that IP. For fans of the original intellectual property of what is being turned into a brand deal. Speak out on it. Talk about it, rant about it, bitch about it, do whatever you have to do. Greek Pantheons was fine because Greek Pantheons, they made it work in the context of Fortnite. They made the items feel like Fortnite items, right? Chains of Hades felt like a Fortnite item. The wings felt like a Fortnite item. They weren't inherently so overpushed that you had to pick them up, except for the Chains of Hades, but that was a glitch. Talk about these things. Make these things known so that hopefully, if you don't think that it's the best for the game and for the best for the community, they'll reel back on some of these ideas that maybe they're looking to in the future. Maybe we'll see maybe in 2028, we'll see an entire year of Universes Beyond if we don't say anything. If we just keep picking up product, keep consuming, and keep our heads down. That's not good for anyone. I'm not trying to be a hater. I don't want to be super negative. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I want to talk about things that make me happy. And Magic the Gathering inherently is one of my favorite games of all time. Game of all time. I think it's awesome. And I love it. And I don't want to see it turn into something that I won't want to play anymore. So please, if you feel the same way, like the video, comment down below, start a conversation with me, with everyone. Share this video with friends who feel the same way. Talk about it on Twitter. Talk about it on Facebook. Talk about it at every Magic the Gathering event and local and MagicCon you go to. Speak out. Don't let them turn the game you love into something you'll never want to play again. Anyways, this has been Beanie Thuggish for the YouTube, signing out and saying